When I decided to organize my fabric onto shelves, into a bookcase, I knew I needed some kind of cover to cover up that fabric, not only to protect it from the light, but also to keep it clean as well as to hide it when I wanted to and to make it looking nice. So I needed some kind of cover to cover that up, and I decided to go with a fabric cover that is pretty much works like a Roman shade. One thing I like about this is I can pull up on this and it takes up very, very little room. When I have this pulled up, the only space that this cover is taking up is this little bit up here. I can pull this up and get to the fabric on the very top shelf, which is not a big deal at all. If you have doors that open up, one thing you have to think about is if you leave your fabric open while you're working or whatever, you're going to have these doors that are out here in the middle of the room in your way. And depending on the space you have in your sewing room, that may be okay, and you may not have the room to do that because sometimes we have very small sewing rooms. So keep that in mind if you're going to be deciding on a place to store your fabric and you're considering what kind of doors to put on a bookcase. Consider that you may not want doors that actually open because this works very, very well and it keeps your fabric protected very easily. So what I've basically done is, I'm going to let this go here, and I have cut a piece of fabric. This is actually just 2 layers of cotton fabric, and it is cut the width that I need it to be, obviously plus a seam allowance because it's stitched together and then turned. And then I measured the length, the height of the bookcase, and added several inches because it is stapled to the top of the bookcase here, so you need a couple inches up at the top. And then there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rod pockets in here to hold a little piece of wood to give the Roman shade support as you pull it up. So you need a little bit more room, a little bit more fabric, a little more height than your fabric to create those rod pockets. And these rod pockets are about 1 inch, 1.25 inches wide, so you need about 2.5 inches per rod pocket that you're going to put into it. These rod pockets are about 12 inches apart. I wouldn't go any further apart than that for this because you want them to really bunch up here at the top so you can get to all of your shelves there. So let's look at the back side of this rod pocket. And if you look at the back of this, you can see I have a rod pocket at the bottom. And inside this little pocket is a little piece of wood. This is just a flat piece of wood, and it's about 3/4 of an inch wide. And it just fits right into that. It's cut just a little bit shorter than the actual width of the fabric, so it's all hidden inside there. And then on the back side of this fabric cover, what I have done is sewn little 1/2 inch plastic rings, 3 of them across one pocket. And what those do is those hold the cording that is going to pull up your Roman fabric shape. So there's 3 of them that are just hand tacked. You don't want to go through all the pocket. You just want to go to the back side of it. And there's 3 here at the bottom. And the ones at the bottom have the cording actually tied to that ring because this is your bottom pocket. So the cording is tied securely to the ring. Then on the next pocket there's 3 more little rings, and the cording is just run through those little rings. They're not actually attached. The cording's not stuck to them. The cording is just going through the little ring. Then the next rod pocket is going to have 3 more, just the same all the way up. So what you end up having on the back of this fabric cover is a row of cording coming down this side, a row of cording coming down the middle, and a row of cording coming down on the other side. What these pieces of cording do is they run up the height of the bookcase. The cording on this side comes over across here, joins up with the cording in the middle. Those 2 come across to the cording over here. They join up with this 3rd row of cording, and then they're all tied together with a very securely knot on this side. Then all I have to do is pull on this piece of cording and my fabric cover comes up. Now what I have also done is created a little holder right here to hold my cords. I can wrap my cords around this little cord stop, and what that does is that secures my fabric cover to hold it up. That way I don't have to be continually holding it while I'm looking for fabric. I can hold it up there and I can get whatever I want to get out of there. Then to let it down, I just unwrap my cords and let it drop. And then my fabric is all covered up again.